Picture an endless stretch of blue waters alive with billfish. Imagine a promise that lures sportsmen from around the world. Welcome to the Sea of Cortez, where for decades the dream of landing sailfish came true for thousands of anglers. But today that dream is fading. What was once an extraordinary fishery has been devastated. Waters that held an abundance of sailfish and marlin now offer only occasional glimpses of abundance past. And the sight of a billfish on the line is rarer than ever before. How did we push this ecosystem to the edge of failure? Can the sea be saved? And what can be done to bring the bills back to Baja? In the decades past, from the shores of Cabo San Lucas north beyond La Paz, hooking and landing a sailfish was as sure a thing as you could find on the open ocean. Every trip seemed to produce not only a billfish, but a trophy-sized catch. Even within sight of the shore, sails and marlin would routinely attack any bait in their path. As word of the fishery spread, anglers flocked from around the world to embrace the challenge, and resorts, marinas, and fleets were built to cater to them. A multi-million-dollar industry developed, an industry based on sport fishing and reliant on healthy, sustainable fish stocks. Gradually, the landings of billfish declined, as did the size of fish that were caught. Having depleted nearshore fisheries of sharks, tuna, snapper, and grouper, the commercial fishing industry began to set nets and long lines for marlin, sailfish, dorado, and wahoo. The unbridled attack on the Sea of Cortez's marine resources now threatens to leave a barren ecosystem where nature once flourished. Like many other fish, sailfish are migratory. They often spawn in one area but grow and mature in other waters. Understanding how these creatures live and where they travel has long been one of the biggest challenges. Fish carry no passports, see no borders, and travel freely from country to country. How do you protect species like this? First, you start by learning as much as you can about them. What waters do they call home at which time of the year? Where are their spawning grounds? How long can a sailfish live, and how far will it travel in a lifetime? The answers to these and other questions can guide efforts to save them and ultimately return the waters of the Sea of Cortez in greater numbers and size. And satellite tagging can give us some of these answers. Enter the Adopt-A-Billfish program as part of the worldwide effort supported by the Billfish Foundation. A recently completed satellite tagging study in the Eastern Pacific discovered that the migratory pattern of sailfish in the Sea of Cortez might tie into these Pacific waters. The belief was that Baja California del Sur could be a spawning ground for sailfish that would eventually migrate south to Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Panama. To find out for sure, more research was needed, and the Adopt-A-Billfish Phase 2 plan was put into action. A satellite tagging crew headed down to Buena Vista Beach Resort on Baja's East Cape. Here, lead scientist Dr. Eric Prince from the NOAA Fisheries Southeast Science Center was joined by Mexican colleagues Dr. Oscar Sosa and Dr. Rogelio Gonzalez Armas. Hosting the expedition was Chris Fisher and the crew of the Go Fish, all whom brought their passion for conservation and their love for the ocean to the journey. The goal of this outing was to tag 4 sailfish with satellite tags and uncover their habitats and analyze their migratory patterns. Using fine meshed plankton nets, Dr. Armas would study larval fish and gather vital data about their health and abundance. Over the course of 3 days, sailfish were caught and satellite tags containing a microcomputer that records position and depth information were placed below the dorsal fin of each fish. After careful handling and resuscitation, the sailfish were released. When the data poured in, it showed us many things. One of the most important discoveries is that the cold water below the thermocline of the Pacific side of South America and off the west coast of Africa does not contain enough dissolved oxygen to support long-term survival of marlin, sailfish, and tropical tunas. Fish actually avoid these oxygen-deficient areas, a situation that restricts these species to a thin layer of habitat at the surface of the ocean. This makes them more susceptible to overfishing by both recreational and commercial fishing. These are some of our best, most vital fishing locations for billfish, and they need to be monitored very closely so the fisheries are not diminished. The task of protecting these fisheries is going to take more research and more resources. Our program is going to need more funds to take our work to the next level. The tale of the billfish of Baja California del Sur has no ending yet. The fate of the fish and the fishery is in our hands. If we as stewards fail and the fish disappear, the natural impacts will be far-reaching, as will the economic impacts. The resorts, fleets, support service jobs, captains, and tourists will disappear as well. When it comes to the sailfish and the marlin in the Sea of Cortez, their survival means the survival of the ecologic economic health of the entire region. The Adopt-A-Billfish research program is an important tool that will continue working to help ensure both. Our hope is that the dream to successfully catch and release billfish in Baja California del Sur will live on for future generations to enjoy.